I'm Matt from Primetime Flicks. I believe in the worst diet imaginable. Every day I wake up and do push-ups. I could do 5 now. Following that, I make sure to make the zestiest pose that I possibly can. There was an idea of a Matt from Primetime Flicks, some kind of extraction, some kind of losery. Although I can hide my cold gaze, this skit was simply dumb as fuck. So originally, I was supposed to review American Psycho on its 25th anniversary, which was April 14th last week. But I was busy returning some videotapes. The fuck you talking about, videotapes? Oh, you're quoting the movie. And there's plenty more to go along with that. You like Huey Lewis in the news? Hey man, why do you have sections of the style column all over your floor? Do you have like a dog? Like a chow or something? No, Alan. Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is. Do you know how bad you smell? You reek of shit. Just say no! Sabrina, just don't stare at it. Eat it. Okay, that one was rowdy. Based on the novel of the same name, American Psycho follows Patrick Bateman, a narcissistic, wealthy, material-obsessed investment banker living in New York during the late 1980s. But the mask of outer perfection he's put up so well to hide his psychopathic persona from his coworkers and friends begins to slip when he delves deeper into his darker fantasies. American Psycho is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a masterpiece of satire and social commentary. I thought this film was underrated for the longest time until I saw it blow up more on the internet with memes and all that Sigma and alpha male bullshit. You're kind of proving the movie's point by reposting and giving into all that shit. This film is backed up by an Oscar-worthy performance from Christian Bale, and I'd argue that the film would be nothing without him. I could just imagine Patrick Bateman being a Letterboxd user who writes these long, detailed paragraph reviews of movies he's seen, and then breaks out into a cold sweat once he sees someone else with more likes and comment replies than him. Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my god, he's even a Patreon user. Patrick Bateman's reaction to seeing Paul Allen's business card and then says, oh my god, it even has a watermark, was one of the most hilarious and dramatic things I've ever seen in a movie ever. It's a dark comedy, and if you go into it not knowing so, some things will not work for you and it will probably go over your head. But I shouldn't be laughing at people getting killed by a psychotic killer. But when you have Patrick Bateman sitting at a table with a bunch of other characters talking about providing shelter and food for the homeless, and then moments later meets a homeless man named Al.
It's what a fucking loser you are. What?
Dick. Mary Herron's direction has a clear, crisp look to it, and a new sheen of consummate professionalism that really gives the film a big boost. When a main character has a voiceover narration, it can come off as corny and unnecessary for the sake of useless exposition, but here I can't imagine the film without it because we're seeing everything through Patrick Bateman's perspective, and he's telling the story, and it's only adding a lot more to that psychological aspect to his character. The use of music during his monologues only added to that 80s Wall Street lifestyle. We see him walking around with those old school headphones listening to music.
Because I want to fit in.
Those 6 words right there just explain the entire plot. He knows these people are living crazy lives, but somehow they take pleasure in it. Bateman isn't satisfied, but doesn't realize he can simply abandon his path to go his own way. He's a square trying to live in a circle. This impossibility is what probably drove him mad. Patrick Bateman struggling to choose a favorite Whitney Houston song is so relatable because I go through the same thing too. Let's talk about my favorite scene in the movie, and that's the death of Paul Allen, played by Jared Leto. This is the scene where Batman kills Joker with an axe. And it's funnier the more you think about it because all of this is over a business card, a dinner reservation at Dorsia, and a little bit of bullying.
Evelyn. Great ass. Goes out with that loser Patrick Bateman. What a dork.
Another martini, Paul.
I love how Patrick moonwalks with an axe, dancing around and speaking with such an excited manner. You could tell he's been looking forward to this. When Paul asks him, is that a raincoat, his response makes me laugh every time. Yes, it is! Almost like Bateman is congratulating a young child who found the right answer. Also, this shot is tough. Willem Dafoe is also good in this movie, which is no surprise, and he plays this detective who's trying to figure out the disappearance of Paul Allen, and gives Patrick Bateman the most stress in the film. You know, I'm something of a detective myself. Out am I? In the film, there's a scene that both of these characters have regarding the disappearance of Paul Allen when the detective walks in to ask questions to Patrick Bateman. This sequence was shot in 3 different styles and was edited together, specifically for Willem Dafoe's character. One where he doesn't think Patrick killed Allen, one where he does think, and one where he doesn't think at all. Mary Harron's choice to splice these 3 takes together might have been intended to create an impression that Patrick can't understand body language and can't tell if the detective is being friendly or suspicious. This film could be pretty confusing and hard to explain because by the time you reach the end of the film, it plays with what's real and what's not. I don't think you could really know for sure whether it was all in his head or whether it was real, and it's just up for self-interpretation. In my personal opinion, I believe it was 50-50. One half being his sick and twisted fantasies, and we have reality. And even in the end, I don't think he knows either. He's a psycho. And like I said earlier, the story is told from his perspective or in his mind. The movie was also a satire on the shallow, pretentious treadmill of society. So it could be that in the end, the landlord and real estate people at Paul Allen's apartment just covered it up because they wanted to be able to resell the apartment. And with his attorney, it could be that he got some names mixed up, a very common occurrence that happens in the movie. Because everyone was interchangeable and shallow, and no one mattered, so their names didn't matter either. But maybe it was all in his head. It could go either way, like I said. I believe he killed Paul Allen, but the rest of it is up in the air. What makes his ending so incredible is the fact that people still don't recognize each other. He for sure killed Paul, but his lawyer didn't even recognize the person he was having dinner with. His lawyer was insulting Patrick to his face and didn't even know it. No one actually knows Paul. No one actually knows Patrick. Bateman will continue killing, and they'll continue making business cards and making dinner reservations. The movie is great because there's a lot of ways to interpret what's actually happening, and there's a lot of evidence to back up all those different interpretations. Fun fact, Christian Bale was told that this film was going to ruin his acting career, but he did it anyways, and blew people's minds. There was even co-stars on set while shooting the film saying how much of a terrible an actor he was. But let's go back to what I was saying earlier about half of it being in his head, because you don't go to an ATM machine and expect it to tell you to feed it a stray cat, or expect 2 cop cars to explode off of a handgun. Even whenever he kills Paul Allen, it cuts to him dragging out a bag with a trail of blood leading into the lobby and car that he puts the body in. And it's out in the public and people, and then you see the trail of blood disappear once it cuts to outside. I think one major plot point that everyone missed is that the story is told by Bateman. And if you didn't know, he can be a very unreliable narrator, where he tries to describe himself in an image he wants others to believe. So the entire movie is coming from his messed up perspective, like I mentioned earlier. American Psycho definitely gets a 5 out of 5 stars from me. I love this film. Thank you guys as always for watching. I look forward to bringing out more videos pretty soon. Don't forget to comment down below what movies y'all want me to review next on the channel. And don't forget to subscribe. I'm Matt, and I'll see you guys in the next video.